What is going on, everybody? Brickbuilder here, and welcome to a brand new video. In today's video, we have some duos gameplay in the background. And today's video is going to be a bit of a post commentary, kind of talking about some strategies for duos and how you can effectively get more wins. Just what we did here to secure this relatively high kill duos game. So we're going to get right into it, but we decided to drop Retail Row. Now, the reasons for this were pretty simple. I have not played a lot with the person in this video. We have not played a lot of duos together. We don't really fully know how our teamwork works yet. So we decided to pick a place a little bit out there. So we didn't go for a tilted drop, which would have resulted in likely death because we just don't have the team communication yet. And we're trying to build that up. And this is a good thing to do whenever you're starting playing with new friends or new people and random duos or whatever. Just usually until you know each other's like strengths and weaknesses, I would not suggest picking a place that is too like close to the bus because you have a much likely chance of losing the game. And if you're trying to secure that victory at Royale, you want to secure it the best you can. But of course, if you guys haven't already, tap that like button, go ahead and do it. And subscribe as well, and hit the bell so you never miss a daily gaming video. But I decided I'm going to go for this house here. And I have, of course, in the voice comms for this gameplay, called that out to USA Canada or my duo's partner. So that way they know where I'm going, because that's definitely an important thing to do. You want to be confident in knowing where your person is on the map without needing to check any sort of maps. You just want your teammate to know. And now I'm over here fighting. I knocked the guy very easily because I do little quick peeks. No problem whatsoever. It was done very, very effectively and super quickly. Get him BM'd. Okay. And then I placed the wall and all that good stuff. And we're doing good so far. We're alive. We're breaking things inside, which is also important because when you break little things like that, you just slowly collect the mats. Guy on us over here, we eliminated him as well. No problem. The dualies are actually pretty good for me. Not gonna lie. He's over here, drops some minis. Beautiful planning. Of course, I did alert my teammate that there were other people, just so they know to kind of make their way over. Even if you think you have it handled, it's always just smarter to tell your team what's going on. So let them know that you're in the fight and that if they want to come over and help, they definitely can, and all that other stuff. And the reason why stuff like that is definitely important is because let's say your enemy pulls out some crazy grenade strategy, rocket launcher, or something and gets you knocked. Well, you want your teammates to know not to engage in other fights and to pick you up if something crazy was to happen. Or if you need backup, you just want to have that, ability for your teammate to not be in the middle of another fight. And if you tell them that you're in a fight, they're not likely to engage in another fight, especially if they're trying to secure the victory royale as well. So that's definitely an important thing. Now, our loot in this game is so far not the best. Okay, he alerted me there's a guy, and I'm over there just, I did a little bit of damage. I didn't do a ton, but the little bits and bobs that I did definitely played an impact in making sure my teammate would be good for sure. We definitely want to, just maximize the chances of keeping our teammate alive. So even if we could do only 14 damage, 10 damage, 7 damage, whatever it is, it's always better to do it than to not do it. It'll just more effectively help the guy go down faster and have a reduced chance for our teammate to get knocked. Now, of course, we are still looting though, and we're not looting we're not holding hands as we're looting. That's a crucial thing that I think a lot of duos get wrong, is you don't need to loot together in the same building. I see a lot of players, especially on console and mobile, trying to do this. You don't need to loot the same building. It's just not as valuable as people like to make it out to be. You really don't need to waste your time looting in the same exact building as other people. It just doesn't make all that much sense, the whole holding hands concept, because you're both just going to get reduced weapons. And if someone was to attack you and you were by yourself, it wouldn't likely make a huge difference or as much of one as people say it would. So I would just say don't really worry about looting the same building. I do say it's important you try to stay with each other. Like if you go Pleasant Park, don't drop on opposite sides of Pleasant Park. You want to stay close enough you can get to each other, but far enough that it's not the biggest concern in the world, because you do, of course, want to get some actual loot out of the place. That is the thing. So now we suspect there's people in the Port-a-Fort, and we're just going to go ahead and go in. As a team, as you can see, there are people. We're just going, taking them out, doing some damage. There we go. USA Canada secures it. There's another one in the corner. Start, bringing him. Just take him down, basically. All right. And now we're dividing the loot, and, we're just going through stuff. I said he could take the sniper, because you got to know strengths and weaknesses. I know I'm not the best with snipers, so I'm going to give the sniper to my teammate, who's likely to be better at snipers than me. That's just a common thing, is although you might want the really good weapon, think about your teammate or your squad. If they have some clear advantages, use those advantages. if you want to get more victory royales. If someone's really good with burst weapons, even if it's a gold FAMAS and you only have a gray AR, give the gold FAMAS to the person really good with the burst weapons, because you'll maximize your shot of winning. If someone's really good with rockets, give them that. Sniper, etc. You know, whatever it is, clingers, whatever the item is that people are really good at, it's always better to give it to your teammate if you're not as good with it. It's just common sense to do that. So of course, I decided to give USA Canada the sniper because he's just likely to be better at snipers than me, being as it's not really my strong suit, and I'm still working on it. And yes, you'll never work on it if you always give your teammates the stuff, but it is important if you're trying to get victory royales early on, which we are, especially with this game already having a fair chunk of kills for retail row, it's just important that we, you know, split things up in the way that makes the most logical sense. So now we are trying to get into the zone. We decide we're actually going to go through Dusty Divot. Why is this? Because we have a lot of cover in Dusty Divot now. With all the trees, you get a pretty good chunk of cover. Plus, we also can use the mushrooms to try to max up our shield quite a bit, which is a thing we do want to do as well, just because it'll give us an extra tap or two before we have to deal with any sort of death. You know what I mean? It's just like a beneficial thing to do, and it makes a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things to go ahead and do that. And now we could be farming these trees for mats, but we're not really too concerned about that. We've discussed our mats between the two of us, and we have a pretty good amount. So we're not solely focused on mats when we go down here. But of course, you know, any bits and bobs you can collect along the way are definitely things that you do, just because they can give you a slight advantage, you know. So we're just going to finish getting those mushrooms, and boom, we're in the zone. We're good. Now we're going to get out of the divot, because once you're in the divot, but there's no trees, you're in a really bad spot because you have instant low ground and anybody else is automatic high ground, which is not a thing you want people to have ideally. But we see some loot over here, which could mean there's still some people here potentially. We're not entirely sure. Either way, we're going to rendezvous and look at what the loot could be, just because there might be some stuff we want. And there definitely was. A blue pump is definitely worth it to take. And I saw the gold thing, not exactly what I'm after though. And okay. So we're just looking around, you know, you got to see if you see anybody, spot anybody, because there could be someone around. And you want to keep your eyes and ears peeled for people, especially when you see loot on the ground. And even more so when you see the loot has likely already been looted by someone. Like there's not a lot of good items in it. That generally means someone else has been there, or it was such an early game kill that they're far away. So it's kind of up to like your personal decision on whether you're going to look for people or you're just going to keep moving. We're sort of doing both here. It works. It's whatever, you know, you just kind of do whatever. And I see I get shot. As soon as I say I get shot, I call out east and I build up, okay? At the same time. Crucial, okay? I did get sniped, which sucks. Oh my gosh, from behind, of course, which sucks even more. So I tell my team I'm going to mini up quickly, just so they know. And I tell them there's people behind us and that now he's getting pushed up on. I try to do a little bit of damage as much as I can. It's not the most, but any sort of factor that I can help with, I try to, because just the more, you know, chances of there being no problem, the better. And okay, I start dinging them one. We got to really get these guys down because we have more than just them to worry about. So it's a pretty bad situation we're in currently, but we should be able to potentially figure it out pretty soon. These guys are not the best at shooting, despite the fact that they are like really close. And of course, we get them both knocked very quickly here, as you can see. It's quite the successful battle in the grand scheme of things once we end up doing that. And now we realize there's even more people pushing over here. We have to go for them as well. I go for some AR peaks where we can get the 100% accuracy just to deal off some basic damage. Take the minis because my teammates said that they're there and I definitely need them. Again, alerting your team about stuff is crucial. Okay, I see he's getting knocked down. I would go for the revive, but I can't because he's over here. So I have to just go for the kill. And boom, shakalaka. Got the kill, no problem. Gonna BM him just because I don't really want his teammates to know exactly where I am if he comes over. Because that is the thing. If you keep him alive, they can be an eyes in the skies for your duo, which is important. When you're knocked, you're not done. Okay? That's another thing I see a lot of people do wrong. You can still move. You can still keep your eyes on the prize and the other team and alert your teammates of what's going on. Definitely an important skill that a lot of people when they're knocked don't like take advantage of. Is you can really make a difference when you're knocked by being able to help your team know where things are, what's going on, where people are pushing, etc. All different little tips like that can make a really big difference to your duo or your squad securing the win. So I decided I'm going to take the Scar, obviously, because I want that. I also take the Bolt now because, again, Even though I'm not the best with sniping, as I said before, we have 2 bolts now. So it makes a lot of sense for me to take that bolt over, it just makes a lot of sense. But again, if you only have 1 of something and you know someone's better at it, you should definitely give it to your partner if you know they're better at it. So we both have snipers, which is useful. I have the med kit, but I do say I'm going to wait till we get into the zone for it. My teammate's aware of the fact that I have slightly lower health, which is partially why they're going first. Also, again, divvying up some ammo if we need any. Super useful thing to do just as you're running into zone, because you're likely not going to engage in many fights. And it's just a nice, peaceful time, essentially, for the most part, because we know we're going to make it in just fine, that we can, discuss if we need anything in our inventories or what we have weapon-wise, because that's another also useful thing. You can discuss the questions and such, which works. And it works. It's not bad to, talk about the weapons you have. And you can tell who's going to be a good teammate if they don't always ask for everything that you say you have. Like, for instance, if I say I have a scar, they're not instantly going to be like, well, I want the scar. You know what I mean? They're going to trust you and trust in your ability. That's crucial. You need to, understand that your duo partner is going to be good and that you trust their skill and that you think they can handle fights and all. It's definitely important to have that element. Because if you don't have that element of trust and that element of respect for their gameplay, quote unquote, you're really not going to work well with them. It's the same with professional athletes. It's the same with anybody. You perform better when you trust the people you're playing with. So it makes a whole lot of sense to do that, which is why certain things here are, make a lot more sense. Now there's 15 people left. Now we're towards the part of the game where, some people start to get a little nervous. Oh, we're getting closer to the end, blah, 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 blah. And me and my duo's partner, we're not even thinking about that. We are not even currently thinking about that at all. We're worried just so well about keeping our positioning good, securing that win in a way that will get us the win and not a way that'll be the most necessarily risky way. We're trying to play very strategically, but we're not going to sit in a 1-by-1 either, because that's just not fun gameplay. And we're focusing on getting a fun victory royale, not just one where we're camping or whatever. And if that's what you want to do, fine. But that's not what we've discussed. That's not what we're going for. You know what I mean? We're discussing strategy right now as we're moving. We're trying to get to good spots on the map. We got the marker place where we want to try to get to. We got just everything's working out so far. We're discussing how many mats each of us have, and I'm farming up a little bit more along the way. Of course, we want to try to just maximize our shot here. There's 11 people left, and we could potentially successfully pull this off. So we want to just keep going as best we can, of course, okay? And it's just important that you do this, is you don't get too caught up in the moment. Like, oh my God, we're under the top 10 people. Whoa, this could be a win. And focus more on how you're going to get that win. That's the important part, is how you're going to successfully secure it. Discussing different strategies. For instance, we're going to go for likely a high ground-esque scenario, but I do see people up on this hill. Potentially, I alert them that there might be people up there because there's building and there's some broken building and such, and use a kid to see somebody else ends up going in on before I even can get over there, but it's all good because he managed to successfully secure that kill, so it's not much of a concern. If you're worried about potentially not being able to handle a fight without your duos or squad, then don't engage. Just tell them that they're there and wait for them. And look at that, I get that little cheeky snipe there to steal that kill and get one more player out of this fight, because of course I want to maximize my shot here. Now, I know I just hit 2 snipes there, but I'm not always the best with the sniper, okay? But again, we're going to go in with that SMG from a range. Not the best, but if it'll do any little pot shots, I'm down for it, if that makes sense. Just little damage here, little damage there can make up some pretty big difference. And boom, we get another elimination. 6 people left. We got to play very smart. We're in this massive build fight, which could really screw us up. We don't really know where people are. We're not discussing things. Like, for instance, the second that USA Canada gets knocked, I know he's knocked. He falls down to the ground, as you can see, alerting me there's people, etc. And now I got to go for the kill here. And if I don't get this kill, there's a good shot we lose, okay? So I got to reload the SMG because that's what's working for me. Hit him with the SMG. Boom. I build around my duos partner, and I say, well, let's get you up. There's only 2 more people left, and you definitely want to have as many players on your team as you can. So revives, prioritize revives, okay? There's strength in numbers over having slightly less health. So you got to prioritize that. We got the heavy and we got the compact. Definitely going to take those. Not too shabby. Of course, inventory organization not really working out there. But all right, we're just going to keep looting quickly. As USA Canada heals up, throw down that campfire for him. There you go. Of course, he knows I throw the campfire down and that I have one and all that good stuff. So he can just heal up there. And in the meantime, I can go ahead and loot some of this stuff around here. Now, I would give him the Chug Jug technically because of the whole, me already having 15 shield thing. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and use it because by the time he's done with the campfire, I could have had a few seconds off on the Chug Jug, which means we can secure the win a little bit faster because, again, we don't really want to give time to the other teams to get too strategically planned out or anything. We kind of just want to secure the win before they can really think about things. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. And we see that they're up there. We see that they're up at the top there because they did peek out. And I went for the little cheeky snipe. It didn't really work, but I went for it either way. And now we're just going to kind of keep going on the up and up. We do have to push them. I, of course, let my teammate know, or he lets me know when we're pushing up. And I'm just going to start, finding a little bit of cover fire there. So if he wants to build up, he can, assuming that that's a good strategy, which I don't really know if it was, but either way, we're pushing up. And I'm slowly, surely getting up. I'm also trying to knock this guy down a little bit, if you could see, because I'm trying to get the high ground. But as I get high ground, I want this guy to get the lowest of grounds up there. I don't want to keep letting him get higher, if that makes sense. And now, of course, I think the whole thing falls pretty much because this guy has a rocket launcher, which is definitely a thing you got to tell your teammate about. If you have a rocket launcher, they should know, okay, we got a knock right there. We got the knock really, really good. And then there's one left. And let's see, we're just going to throw some cover fire in, push up a little bit, just so that way if our teammate needs backup, we can be up there to help with it. And let's see, we're going to pull in with that little compact, get off some shield right there. And let's see. And okay, we're talking about strategy, of course. Definitely the bouncer out. And I go ahead there and just snag the kill with the compact. And there we go. We won the game with a ton of kills. If you guys enjoyed, like and subscribe.